How's it going, everybody? Hopefully better for you than it is for me, because I got two really crazy things that have happened to me. Number one, I'm buying my second rental. I'm so excited to be able to share this news with you because I said I was going to try to do it within 1 year, and instead it's taken about 15 months, but forgive me, I didn't expect for there to be a global ending worldwide pandemic to throw a freaking wrench in the works. Issue number two, expect a lot more YouTube videos from me in the coming days. You want to know why? I had an exposure with an individual who tested positive for COVID-19. For those of you who know me, I'm an officer in the Seattle, Washington area. Placed an individual under arrest, was within close proximity with him for 15 minutes or more, and unfortunately when he got to jail, he tested positive for COVID-19. My brovid had COVID. So anyways, I am now on a mandatory 14-day self-isolation quarantine. I got my little mask if I'm going to be within close proximity to my roommate. Otherwise than that, I have to wipe everything in my apartment down with this before he touches it. So this entire table area right here will be vigorously sanitized, at the conclusion of this video. That being said, let's get back to the issue at hand. I am buying my second rental and I'm just tickled, right? Isn't that a weird expression? I'm so excited to share with you the numbers, all right? First of all, am I buying it here in Seattle? Abso-freaking-lutely not. And I'm going to make a separate video about why I am done with this garbage, ridiculous, crazy, insane area. If you want to be a real estate investor, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, these are not the places for you. You can still get started there with one property. We'll do a video on that. But this is not where I'm going to choose to put my money. Let's talk about why I want cash flow, because cash flow is king, right, Grant?
Cash is not king. There is a king, and it is not cash.
Thanks, Grant. Yes, cash flow is king. I care about how much money the property makes me on a monthly basis because I want that coming into my pocket. And in truthfulness, I'm just going to put it in a bank account, let it sit there and build up and buy a third property, then a fourth property, then a fifth property. That's the goal. All the money I'm going to make off this beautiful 3-bedroom, 1-bath house from the Midwest where I'm originally from will go into a bank account to sit there and look pretty and earn 0.0001% interest while the banks crumble around it. But they're insuring me up to $100,000. Thanks, FDIC. Let's move into the actual pro forma given to me by the turnkey rental group that I'm buying this property from. Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay guys, so as you can see right here, I have the property and I'm doing my best to keep things like the address and everything like that hidden because there is already a tenant in there and it's going to be rented. So let's go ahead and take a look. The all-in price, as you can see up here at the top of the screen, the all-in price for this property is $60,000. Can you imagine me here in Seattle, Washington buying anything other than a cardboard box for $60,000? Looking at these prices, it just baffles me. 20% down is 12 grand. Are you kidding me? That's just outstanding. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a loan amount, right, of $48,000. That's going to be my mortgage, $48,000 over 30 years. Now they, as you can see right here, had hypothesized that my mortgage rate would be 4.6%. Luckily, I actually got a 4.1% market because, as I'm sure everyone is aware, here in May of 2020, the economy's tanking, interest rates are falling, and anyways, my mortgage payment actually is going to be $232 a month. So I saved myself an extra $14 of cash flow. Look at that. That's impressive. Property taxes, $55, $58. That's already pretty set in stone right there. But their insurance was estimated here, as you can see, at $61.25, and I actually got that knocked down to $54. So I'm actually going to pick up an extra $14 here, and I'm going to pick up an extra $7 a month here, which I know, 21 bucks a month really doesn't amount to much. But at the end of the year, that's what, 210 plus it's like 260 bucks or something like that. I'll take it. I'll take it at the end of the year. No homeowner association fees. Oh, so excited for that. Property management is already included, and the rent on this property is $875 a month. You can see it right here. It's currently rented. The tenant has paid both April and May's rent, which I'm extremely excited about. As everyone knows, rent strike / corona issues is definitely something that we are concerned with going on in the current economic freaking landscape we see ourselves in. So it's rented at $875 a month. April and May have been paid. My closing date on this property is June 14th. I'm hoping to close sooner than that if possible. The appraisal is scheduled here in a few days, and I'm paying $600 out of my pocket for that. Anyways, let's get back to these numbers. So the estimated total monthly expenses is $450 a month. That includes the mortgage, the property taxes, the insurance, the property management fees, $450 a month. Now again, mine's going to be $232 plus the 55 plus 54, and then the same $87.50 here. So I'm actually going to end up saving that $20 off this. So my cash flow should be right around, call it $430 a month. Now, obviously, if you account for vacancies and maintenance, right, another 10% for vacancy costs and 10% saved for maintenance costs, that's going to bring me from the $450 down to their estimated $302. Now, why is this $302 an important number to me? Let's talk about that. Okay, so Michael Zuber, who has the YouTube channel One Rental at a Time, who's somebody that I actually very much respect and talk to on a frequent basis. I've taken his real estate course. I'm part of his private Facebook channel. I watch almost every single video he does. Honestly, he's one of the most down-to-earth good people that I can possibly imagine on this entire platform of YouTube real estate investors. He's a really good guy who refuses to use other people's names for clickbait, which I don't understand why, because it's not clickbait if you're giving honest critiques of them. Mike, my guy. Anyways, back to the matter at hand. He says what you should aim for is a minimum of $200 a month cash flow after vacancies and maintenance are saved, of course. Now, why is this important? Well, right now, I'm at $302 a month, so I'm already 50% better than the minimum that he would aim for. Now, there is one thing that I took into consideration with a little bit of a caveat for what Mike recommends. Mike recommends that you look for properties in your own area or in an area close by, and you really get to know your market. Now, that's good advice, getting to know your market. And I've studied the properties here being sold from this turnkey investor group in the Midwest where I'm buying these properties from. But it was funny because he says you want a $200 cash flow. Well, if a house costs $500,000 in Seattle and, $800,000 in San Francisco and $60,000 in this small Midwestern city, and I'm getting relatively the same cash flow on every single one of those houses, the 500, the 600, or the 60,000, why would I spend 10 times as much money for the exact same amount of cash flow? If I'm just essentially buying $200 worth of cash flow, I want to buy it at the lowest possible price. So if I'm going to find a market to go and learn and explore and get to know, I want to go to the place in the country where I can get the best deal. And I don't know if this is the best deal, but I'll tell you what, when I compare it to Seattle, this is a heck of a deal right here. So $302 with vacancies and maintenance. Now, obviously, I'm anticipating to get, somewhere around $480 a month of cash flow. Or excuse me. Then that's about right. About $460, $70 a month in cash flow. The vacancies and maintenance, I don't even count that because the entirety of the cash flow from this property will be going into a bank account, and I will not be spending a single penny of it at all whatsoever. It will just be going into a bank account, and the only time that money will come out will be to buy my third rental property, which I'm hoping to buy in just a couple more months, because at these rates, I already have enough money stacked away in my bank right now to go buy more. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the property. You can see right here the annual property taxes, $667. It was built in 1940. Now, what I oh, did I call this a 3-bed, 1-bath, by the way? I'm sorry about that. It's actually a 3-bed, 2-bath, and I think I might have screwed that up. Also has a basement, and the roof is only 2 years old, which was wonderful. Talked with my insurance guy out there, and of course, they gave me a really, really good insurance package that had everything I wanted. Not only the cost to completely cover the property and rebuild it if it's destroyed, which funny thing is, it'd be about $154,000 to rebuild it from the ground up because it's old construction, even though it's only being sold for 60 grand. But the insurance that I went with will cover everything that needs to be covered, like vandalism and malicious mischief. At least that's the law out here in Washington when people vandalize a property prior to being evicted, if an eviction happens, which God forbid, I hope it doesn't. So really, really good full coverage on this property for any issue that I might have. Obviously, I won't be using my insurance unless I absolutely have to. Built in 1940, roof's only 2 years old, a really nice property. It has a basement that's, I believe, unfinished. I've looked at a bunch of properties and I'm trying to remember this one. I believe it's an unfinished basement. Let's see here, right? And now, what I really like here is they break down the numbers even further. They go ahead and take a look at everything, and let's take a look at what their estimated numbers are here for the next 10 years. Okay, guys, again, now these numbers right here, these are annual income analysis. These are estimates of what things could look like in the future going forward. Personally, I really didn't take too much stock in these numbers. And the reason is I care more about what I can do today. I don't want to buy a property because I think one day it may appreciate in value, or one day it may rent for more. What does it actually rent for today? What is the market value of this property right now on May 14th of 2020? That's what I care about. So we take a look right here, the amount of money that's going to be saved for vacancy and maintenance, the amount of money potentially in expenses, the amount of money that's going to go to a mortgage payments, what your actual cash flow is going to be, your principal reduction on the loan, the remaining loan balance, all these different numbers here that are really fancy. Honestly, I look at all these numbers and I don't want to sound like I'm uneducated or I'm too lazy to do the work to understand them, but I feel like this is for the extremely analytic engineer's mind, right? I work out here in the Seattle area. I deal with a lot of Boeing engineers, Microsoft programmers, Amazon engineers, lawyers, corporate, all these people with extremely analytical minds that love looking at these numbers. And you're welcome to take a look right here and tell me if you think it's good, bad, because either way, I'm indifferent. I don't care what you think about this deal, though I'd still love to know. I'd still love to know, and I appreciate your support, hopefully. What I'm looking for, instead of all of these different numbers, is $200 to $300 in cash flow a month. And I want to buy it as cheap as I can. So if I can buy a $60,000 house instead of a $600,000 house, that's what I want. I'm looking for the same $200 to $300 a month. And if I can get one property, call it $300 a month, that's great. Now, if I can get 5 properties, all giving me the same $300 a month, all with similar mortgages, all with similar payments and all that type, $300 a month cash flow on 5 properties, I just gave myself $1,500 of extra passive income each month. Now that's important, okay? Because that's a big number right there, $1,500 a month. But if I can get to 10, there's $3,000 a month. How many people out there don't even make $3,000 a month? Quite a lot. If I can get to 20, that's $6,000. I'm getting close to replacing my own monthly income from my normal W-2 job as a police officer, right? And if I can get to 30, and I'm up to 9,000, I've definitely replaced my income. And so I don't see it as being extremely difficult to save and invest, call it $15,000 with closing costs on this, right? Down payment, appraisal, and your closing costs. I'm going to be all in on this property, about $15,000. And it's going to pay me, $300 after vacancies and maintenance, $300 a month. And it's going to cost me $15,000. Now I know we can sit here and pick apart your return on investment over time, but I don't care. I want $300 a month, and I can buy that $300 a month for $15,000 in this Midwest city out here with a brand new rented property that's freshly remodeled by a group that I extensively researched, that was recommended to me by a friend who has bought 14 properties from them now. His son's bought 2 and his other friends bought 1. No one's had an issue. I'm just trying to buy $300 a month in cash flow as many times as I can until I can quit my job. And then as many times as I can until I can go move to Hawaii and maybe find myself a wife. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. Also, I know I never ever ask anybody to like or subscribe to my stuff because I have this really cool thing called integrity and dignity, and I just can't see myself begging for that kind of attention. So instead, I brought a friend to ask for me.
Make sure to smash the like button, and if you don't, still make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm because...
Thanks, my guy. I appreciate that. Hey, we'll catch you guys next time.